actually live? What is happening to the buttons? Supposedly we're live.
Yeah, supposedly.
I don't want to believe it.
Me either.
None of the buttons want to work. There we go.
There it is. Now we got something going.
The buttons are working. Okay, I think the buttons are working.
Okay.
I think we're here. This is why we like to get here early.
Yes.
But for once, we only have like 4 minutes.
Ah, there we go. I got the ad.
Please watch the ad. I need our fraction of a penny.
We need more coffee.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Sometimes I forget that other people can see us once we're live.
I know.
Sorry. The button was not cooperating.
Trying to iron out our technical details.
Hi, Jamie. Hi, Aria. Hi, Susan. Hello, hello, hello. So glad y'all are here with us today.
Yep.
We have 4 minutes before we're going to officially start. Hey, Ben. Hey, Kinky Kitty. Thank you on our shirts. These were actually the very first ever shirts we received. We received them from a listener.
Yes.
From the Northwest. I've got the direction right on the country, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I know who he is, but I can't remember their name.
Well, also, yes. Well, I know their real names, which I'm not going to say.
Yeah, no.
But I can never remember handles. I'm not even going to try. But they know who they are.
Yeah, but these were the shirts that started it all.
You know what's funny? They're not real. These are the first shirts where I went, ooh, we could have matching shirts. It was Kinky Cloth shirts that started the all my shirts have to be kinky. These started the all my shirts have to have a message. And I like it when we coordinate. Ben, hate it when there's damn meetings where you can't stay all the way through a live stream. Ugh. That's okay. We're glad you're here while you are.
Yes.
And hello, James. Oh, thank you, Aria, for watching the ad. I'll just put that out there for anybody who's like, I can't join Patreon. I can't do this. I can't buy anything. Here are some things you can do on YouTube. I have learned this.
Okay.
Until they change the rules again and the algorithms again. Here are things you can do. If you do not have an ad blocker on your device, which I totally respect the fact that you might have an ad blocker, when you have the patience for it, watch an ad all the way through. That would be one way. Another way is actually if you leave a comment on a video. I don't know if the live stream is the same way as like an uploaded video or the video later, but apparently leaving comments helps with the algorithm. And of course, any place you are kinky online, if you feel a video is appropriate, you can always share it. But yeah, those things all help. Those things all, support the work we do. And if they cost time, not money, that's just as valid as anything else. So yeah.
I watched the ad.
Because I tell you to. It's my business top energy coming out. Like, please watch the ad. I mean, it is truly just a fraction of a penny. I also learned today that because our channel, most of the videos, nearly every video that we upload that's eligible for monetization is, quote, limited in monetization. That can also impact how much we make from the little bit of monetization we get. So we are never going to be a YouTube millionaire, and that is okay. I'm not trying to be. Okay. I love that smash like button. I know. I said it once because I heard somebody else say it, and I didn't realize they were being ironic when somebody else said it, and I hated how it sounded, so I don't say that, but it is, we will ironically smash the like button. And yes, subscribe. Oh, Jamie, you're on antibiotics.
Oh,
that
no.
sucks. That sucks so bad. Hello, Crystal. Hello, him and her. Yeah. So there are things that can be done that don't require money. Ooh, we only have 1 more minute to kind of BS before I get into stuff. Oh, here's what I'll say. For those of you who actually are like, I pay attention to videos because I subscribe. I'm one of those people. I know the channels I subscribe to, I know their schedules. And I'm like, it's a Monday. Where's my video?
Yeah.
So if you are like that, no, we did not upload a video on Monday. We'll talk about why everything fell apart this weekend. And we did finish filming the coffee vlog stuff. I thought maybe we'd do an informational video Monday and the coffee vlog is like a bonus. And then I went, oh no, it'll just be the coffee vlog. And I have not edited
We thought October was bad. November went to hell in a handbasket.
No, November is already looking up. Yeah. I did lose the entire month of October, except for my birthday, which is the most important day of the whole year. So, So yeah, if you are a YouTube subscriber and you're like, where's y'all's latest upload video? we missed a week. But we have reasons, and we will talk about those reasons in the bonus section at the end. Okay, is it officially noon? It is. Don't unpause.
Okay.
I'm talking to you two people first. Woo, you're messing yourself all up, aren't you?
See about a guy for trying something new?
I know. That's why you got me here. He's trying something new, and he's about to hit the wrong button. So it is officially noon, so I will at least, start the YouTube live stream portion officially.
Okay.
I mean, any bullshit that happens from here on out was accidental, not intentional. But it will totally happen. So our topic this week is a really, really big one. So we are not going to cover every possible facet of it. And that is, we are talking about whether there is a difference between identifying as a dominant or submissive, or even a switch if you go between the two, and identifying or behaving in ways or doing things as a top versus a bottom. I get questions all the time from people who are like, what's the difference between dom, sub, top, bottom? I also get questions about, can I do this if I'm a dom? Does that make me a submissive if I do this, that, or the other? So we're going to try and tackle that, specifically trying to answer some of the questions I've received recently around this topic, but then, of course, other thoughts as they come to us as we speak totally. I don't want to steal the phrase of another podcast, but off the cuff. It's an expression, and also if you're looking for other BDSM podcasts, off the cuff. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Are there any other YouTube-related things I want to say before we are officially into the recording? No, because I told you about the video and that we were slackers, and we'll talk about why we were slackers at the bonus section. So we're going to talk about dom, sub versus top, bottom. Okay, let's get into the show. And you clicked your special magic button.
Yes.
Very good. Okay. Hello, everybody. Before we get into the actual episode, one quick announcement.
Yes.
That you were very good and reminded me of, so I put it in my notes. And that is...
It's an important announcement.
It is. It's 1 month, essentially about 1 month from now. So you'll hear us talk about this to the point you're like, please stop talking about this. But for our Florida peeps, specifically Central Florida peeps, or peeps who can get to Central Florida, we will be at the Woodshed on December 7th for they call it their holiday extravaganza. I'm not letting you say that word for now. I can't take your flourish.
Extravaganza.
Stop! Basically, they do a kink-friendly market inside the Woodshed. So there's a lot of kinky vendors. There's also some non-kinky vendors. We saw somebody last year who was selling soap. I never got to go to that table and to smell all the nice things. But we were next to somebody who made their own rope, and they were selling that, and that was very cool. So we're going to be there selling our kinky wares. And I'm very excited. We've already picked out the shirt we're going to wear.
Yes.
Because we're wearing a matching t-shirt. If you're a video watcher, you know. Podcast listeners, we wear matching t-shirts every week.
And I think I'm going to wear my kilt.
I think you should. I think you totally should. Yeah. Oh, what am I going to wear then? Oh, I've got a month to drop 30 pounds. So, I don't.
The Woodshed updated, as of the day of this recording, Woodshed updated the list on the FetLife
page, and we will link to the FetLife event
for the RSVP
in show notes.
If you go to the Loving BDSM PC FetLife page, in the about, I put a link to the event.
Okay.
And they updated all the vendors. They have some really, really great vendors.
Are we going to spend as much money as we make? Is that what you're telling me?
Probably.
I'm down for that. It's fine. It's fine. Well, the reason we tell you guys is if you are near Florida, we know there are a lot of people in the Florida area that listen or watch, and we know people who travel to it because Orlando is the house of mouse, y'all. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. If you're going to be in that area, come see us. You can get in for free.
Right.
So if you've never been to a dungeon or you've never been to the Woodshed and you're like, I'm just visiting, I don't want to be a member, this is an opportunity to go and not have to become a member or sign up or pay anything. Everybody can get in for this event. And just come say hi. You don't even have to, we don't mind if you shop, but you don't have to
And
shop.
if you like what you see and you want to try out your new toys, after the event, the shed will be opening for play.
I know, and we might actually be staying for play this year, right? I think that's the plan.
Yep.
I'll need that. After a day of peopling, I will need my ass beat. Okay, that's a very long announcement to say Woodshed, Orlando, if you can get there. Oh, here's what I'll say, because I know there are people going, bitch, I can't get there. I know. It's okay. We are going to hold a kinky fuckery shop sale after that event.
Yep.
We want you to buy, and I love it when people buy at full price. That's always a great thing, shop.kaylords.com. But I also love it when people get a deal, because I love getting a deal. So we are going to have a sale that will start after we get back from that Woodshed event. That'll run like 2 weeks or so, usually in December. That's when we do it anyway. So do not feel bad if you can't get to the Woodshed and do some shopping. We will help you out. We will hook you up. Okay. There. I'm procrastinating getting into this topic because it's a big ass fucking topic.
Yeah.
It's a big ass topic. What's the difference between a dom and sub and a top and bottom? And if I do this thing, does that make me less a dom or less submissive? These are the questions we get. So I want to start with a disclaimer, because this happens every time I attempt to even kind of define something in kink. Mm-hmm. There are no hard and fast definitions to anything. We get to take labels and titles and roles and personalize them to ourselves so that they make sense for us. That being said, I know I have strong opinions on the dom sub role versus the top bottom role. And so I will be sharing my opinions, and I'm pretty sure you'll be sharing yours. That's what we do here. And it's okay if your personal definition differs wildly from mine. If that is not how you internalize what those labels and titles mean, and you treat it differently, that I am not invalidating whatever somebody else's personal experience is. Thank you very much. Okay. I just wanted to say that, because every time I try, this is why I don't like defining things, because it is inherently personal. It is so personal, and we all get to decide for ourselves what something kind of means for us and how we're going to interact with a role. And that is okay. Okay. So the reason we're doing this episode right now, I used to be for a long time, I was getting questions of, well, what's the difference between a dom and a top, a sub, and a bottom? And if you've noticed in many episodes over the now literal years, sometimes I fluctuate between saying, well, if you're a sub or a bottom, if you're a dom or a top, and sometimes I don't. And I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, so that's the one question that we got for a long time. And now we've been getting a lot of questions of, well, I'm the dominant in a role, and I want my partner to spank me. I want my partner to penetrate me sexually. I want my partner to, like, pick a thing. And then the follow-up question to that is, does that make me less of a dominant? Or does that, like in that case, the dominant, does that now make me submissive because I want my submissive partner to do that? Or the alternative question I get is, if my submissive partner does this top-like behavior, is that okay? Can they do it? Should they do it? There's lots of shoulds in the questions I get. Oh, we're all going to stop shooting all over ourselves eventually. So those are the questions we get, and hopefully we're going to try and answer some of those questions. Yeah. But that's why we're having this conversation, because I think many people confuse in their mind for their own personal selves the difference between dom sub and top bottom. And for some people there is no difference, and for some of us, myself included, I do feel like there's a difference. So that is where this topic comes from. So I'll go back to what I said I would tell you like 30 seconds ago. The reason that sometimes you hear me very exclusively say dom and sub, or in a different type of episode, I'll say something like dom, top, sub, bottom, is because for me, and you tell me if you disagree completely, John Brownstone.
You know I will.
I know. Dominance and submission is about the relationship. It's about how you see yourself in conjunction to the other person you're partnered with. Whether that is a long-term partnering, whether that's a short-term partnering, whether that's platonic, romantic, sexual, does not matter. That part doesn't matter. It's how you're relating to the other person that you're engaging with. Top, bottom, to me, and this is not something I always thought, but at this point, I'm at that. My definition of top bottom is about your role in the activity. Are you the one doing the thing, or are you the one receiving the thing? That can be absolutely and completely separate about who has control in the relationship, who has the power.
To me, a little bit, the dom sub, that is more, to me, that denotes more of someone in some kind of relationship, a negotiated power exchange between two people. Top and bottom is more along the lines of the S&M aspect. That's how I've always seen it.
And I think that that's probably a very common way of seeing it. I think for many of us, that's the short, simple definition. I think DS is the relationship. Top bottom is the kinky fuckery. I mean, if you want it quick and dirty, you can absolutely look at it that way. And that's why when somebody says to me, I'm the dom, but I want to be male dom. I want to be pegged by my female submissive. I want them to put a strap on, use the dildo, and go at me. Does that make me submissive? If I want to be pegged by my submissive partner? Not necessarily. No. But it's complicated. And here's why it's complicated. From an outsider's point of view, I have no vested interest in your kinky fuckery. I'm going to tell you, absolutely not. Pegging as an activity is neither dominant nor submissive at all, unless, and here's where it gets complicated. Okay. You see it that way.
Well, there is that.
And that is the difference.
And I think, and that's a good one to use because I have seen a lot of things on the interwebs. Probably things I wish I could forget.
We've all been there.
Yes. But pegging is a very good example of that because a lot of the images that you see on pegging are, the angry DeMay taking...
Oh, yeah, pounding away at that ass.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Oh, I made myself a little hot. I'm not even...
A little verklempt.
Yeah, I'm not even top when it comes to that kind of stuff, but whoo, that's kind of...
But now when you go somewhere like FetLife that deals with different fetishes, you will hear people talking about sensual pegging.
That's not something I've heard of. Okay.
All right. Where it's not the there's no power exchange per se within it. It's more of a sensual thing, just like
it's about exchanging pleasure. One person is penetrating, the other person is being penetrated. Correct. It's like vanilla heterosexual penetrative sex has no inherent power imbalance unless you choose to make it that. So, yeah. I promise you, I've been fucked in missionary position in ways that made me want to take a nap, quite frankly. And I've been fucked in ways that made me remember exactly who was in charge. Thank you very much. So I think that part of it is that the first thing to think about in terms of activities is that no activity is inherently power exchangey. Somebody is doing the thing, the other person is receiving the thing, and depending on the thing you're doing, the kinky fuckery thing you're doing, you could switch that up in the middle of the action. One person receiving, one person giving or doing or, top. And in this way, this is always simplified language. One person topping, one person bottoming. Now, that does not mean that there is always no power imbalance in topping and bottoming. There absolutely can be.
Well, I kind of think of it, the thing that comes to my mind first, me being who I am, and you know who I am, more of a hedonistic.
Oh, you think
pleasure?
So? Okay. Like that wild, abandoned,
pleasure of the flesh, rather than it being even a top or bottom thing. I think another way you could look at it is as enjoying a fetish, maybe.
And even so, if the thing you're doing requires another partner to help you do it, I mean, technically, you can spank yourself. Technically, if you have a latex fetish, you can dress up in latex on your lonesome and you can express your kink in your fetish, and there's no power exchange there. But the moment a person is part of it, even if it switches back and forth in the middle, somebody is doing and somebody is receiving. You could be doing that to one another. I mean, in very sensual sex, however you want to define sex, penetrative or otherwise, we are touching one another.
Right.
Right? I am giving you pleasure as I am receiving pleasure for you. There's no top or bottom there.
No.
It's because we're very much on equal footing. I am not lying back and allowing it to happen without participating in some way.
One would hope.
Well, it depends on the kind of sex you're having, right?
True.
Or the thing you're
True.
doing. And yet, bring it around to kink, in a spanking, if there's a partner involved in the spanking, in the impact play, in the flogging, in the whipping, in the thing, but it's, on the action alone, one person is taking it, one person is like, here are the parts of my body you can hit, and with the implements you can use, and the relative amount of force you can use, and the other person is doing the thing. They are the one hitting, swinging, flogging, whatever, right? And that's a very sterile way to look at it. Where dom, sub, top, bottom have absolute similarities and are on even footing is the consent, communication, negotiation needed to do those things. Because I guess technically it can happen without all of that, but it's not healthy, safe, or probably great without it. So both people are participating. It's just at what level they're participating.
True.
And even that gets really squishy because what my mind wants to say, where my mind goes is, I negotiate our relationship with you.
Right.
We agree upon a certain level of consent. And we go through our lives that way, checking in on occasion, updating that as needed. But essentially, it's an understanding. Whereas in a situation where if I bottom for somebody who is topping me, I can't leave anything to just an understanding between us because this is how we live our relationship. I have to get very specific, and I have to sometimes direct the action. I have to say, you can only hit me on the right butt cheek, not the left butt cheek. Or I have to say, don't touch my shoulders. Or I have to say, don't touch my boobs. Like, that's what my brain wants to say. But you know what? That's because that's how I relate to DS and to topping and bottoming. And that's not the same for everybody. For some people, the level of direction they will give as a bottom in a one-off scene is relative and almost identical to the amount of negotiation, consent, communication that is required for them to be able to submit to somebody. So it's not necessarily possible to say, oh, submissives can just relax and let things happen to them, and bottoms have to kind of like manage this situation. That is true in some cases and not true in others. So for me, when I'm trying to settle the differences in my mind, I can't even talk about how the people relate to one another as a strict way of defining the differences. I have to say that this is about the role you take. Like, for me, I guess maybe this is a personal definition. Being a submissive is who I always am in relation to myself as a human being, but also in relation to a specific person. So I'm a submissive as I walk through life, even if I'm not submissive to you, the general you out there who can hear the sound of my voice or see my face. And as long as I consent to it, I'm always submissive to you. Even when I don't always act like I'm submissive, still submissive. Whereas topping and bottoming is situational.
Yeah.
We are in a situation, an activity is about to occur. I'm going to bottom because it's very rare. My top energy is, we've talked about this before, is business related.
Yes.
I'm not topping in the kinky fuckery. At this point, I have not found the thing I'm going to top, but I'll bottom. As a bottom, I'm going to relate to that other person differently than I'm going to relate to the person in my DS dynamic. But that's my personal thing. That's not true for everybody else.
No, it's not.
It's very hard to define these things, y'all. In terms of an activity being, well, is that a dominant activity or submissive activity? Because that's the question people are asking. Is an activity dom or sub? Here's the one that comes to mind. We started with pegging.
Yes.
Let me go to the one where a few of you probably discovered that I exist as a human being from this one. Oral sex. One of my most popular blog posts at KaylaLores.com is the question on why doms who give oral sex to their partner, provided are still dominant. And I went on a rant on that. I went on a total absolute tear on that, which is probably why people liked that article. Yeah. I don't know. But it is one where somebody has has gotten it in their head that the act of doing something, providing pleasure, putting their mouth on their partner's genitals, whatever it is, somehow makes them submissive.
Yes,
and I reject that.
There's a huge mindset I've run across over the years that feel that a big D providing oral sex on a female is not.
I've seen it with any gender pairing genitalia. Oh my gosh. It's something about being in that position where, and this sort of annoys the fuck out of me. Okay, more than just sort of. It definitely annoys the fuck out of me. The idea that providing pleasure to your partner somehow makes you, because here's the thing, they say submissive, and what they mean is lesser. What they mean is weaker. What they mean is no longer in charge.
Yeah.
That's what they mean.
And see,
they say dominant, but that's not what the fuck they mean. Because if they respected the role of the bottom or submissive to receive that kind of pleasure, it would not be some negative thing to be the one providing the pleasure, right? And most of the people I have come across who feel that way are those people who see a dom as all-powerful and who get what they want from their submissive and don't have to give anything except some orders. And that's why my rant happens.
And see, I disagree with that mindset as well, because to me, it is just another way of controlling you.
Absolutely.
I don't need any toys. I don't need dildos or vibrators or anything like that. I can do it with my fingers or my tongue, and I can make you squirm. I can bring you to the edge. I can deny you.
Yes.
I can grant you.
You can force some
I
orgasms
can force
if I'm in a multi-orgasmic mood.
That's right. So yeah, it is just one more way.
And that's why I think for me, the acts that we do, sexual, kink, fetish, are not inherently dom or sub. None of them are. You can be the top or the bottom. And that's the other thing. Some people would say, well, receiving oral sex, does that make me automatically the bottom? No. I have seen plenty of people with vulvas who are like, get your tongue on my clit now, and then they still control the action with a hand in the hair or just by moving their hips. Just like I've seen plenty of dominants with their mouth on their partner's genitals controlling the action. So this is why this is such a sticky topic, though.
Yeah.
The activity is not inherently dominant or submissive. It is how you feel about it, and it's how you approach that activity. Even then, I would say in many cases, an activity receiving or giving might not even be inherently top or bottom. In the case of oral sex, it's one of those complicated ones. It's about your technique. It's about how you approach it. It's about how you handle the situation, who's in control. If the dominant is fully in control of the oral sex that they are receiving, then their submissive, who is providing the tongue, essentially, in the mouth, is still bottoming at that point because their dom is in control. That being said, if the dominant lays back and says, pleasure me with your tongue, use your mouth, do your thing, and they don't try to control the situation, then there's an argument to be made, a discussion, if you will, that they are now the bottom in that activity. Because yes, they controlled whether they would have a mouth on their genitals anywhere. They consented to that. They said, do this thing. But the partner is now, until they're told otherwise, doing what they will. With their tongue, with their mouth, with their teeth, with their hands, with their whatever. Like however you're controlling that situation. So the partner is still the submissive because they did what they were told. But are they the top in that situation because they were given kind of free access to do it as they wanted to? And because the dominant is, let's say, laying down. We're going to pretend everybody's in bed. They're laying back, receiving the pleasure and not providing it the other way.
Now,
see, it gets complicated.
Yes. And then there is a whole other twist to this.
Okay.
Looking at this, I'm going to try to explain this the best I can, and I may need your help.
Okay.
Okay. So you may your services may be required.
Happy to provide.
Girl. So the true conundrum here is doing something that may make you feel less dominant. Okay? So now, if there was something that I wanted, and I know it would make me feel good, and I would enjoy it, if I were to say to you, baby girl, I like X. I would like to experience X.
Ooh, we've had this conversation before, actually.
I would like you to do this as an act of service to me in your submission.
We've had this conversation, actually. And this was early day. We had this conversation early days, and I had not decided how I felt about these things. To me, certain things were inherently dominant or submissive when the word I needed was top or bottoming. Also, there is you have to want to do it. Like, I can be of service to you, but if it's an activity I have zero interest in doing, now we're potentially brushing up against some hard limits.
And breaking boundaries.
Yes. So that's
pushing boundaries.
That's a sticky topic.
Yeah.
But we have had that conversation.
Yes, we have.
I will not say what that activity was. You are welcome to say what that activity was if you'd like, because that's your personal thing. And at the time I went, well, yes, in theory. And I still say in theory, and this is why we're having this conversation, because we get these questions.
Yes.
The dominant wants to feel a sensation. They want to have an experience. Somebody mentioned in the live stream feed about sort of a catharsis kind of, impact, play, pain, whatever they need. And they're usually the top. They're usually the dominant. They're usually the one doing it. They want to receive it.
As the big D, every now and then they need a spanking as a catharsis.
If that's their thing, right? Yeah. And so they say, well, the person I want to do that with is my submissive. But my submissive, either the question is they are not comfortable doing that thing, or the dominant's like, I'm not even sure I should ask for that thing. Like, what does that mean about our roles, right? And the theory goes, and I say theory because I have not practiced this myself. But I know it's possible because I'm observant and I lurk on BDSM communities everywhere I am, so I know it happens. The theory goes is that when a dominant requests an activity from their submissive, they're like, I want to be on the receiving end. I want to bottom in this kinky fuckery. You doing it does not make you the dominant. It makes you the top in that situation, but it does not make you the dominant. And it would be you being of service to me. You would be doing it as a submissive thing to me because I'm asking you to do it. I'm going to tell you what I want you to do. Yes, you're going to be wielding the flogger or the paddle or the dildo or the whatever. But you're only doing it because I've asked you to do it. And you're doing it because it gives me pleasure for you to do this thing to me. It does something for me. It's an act of service. I know people are capable of seeing things that way. I have not found myself able to do that yet. I have not. With you. But I don't, not because I don't want to, but I don't play with other people. And so could I, as somebody who would rather receive the spanking, paddle somebody's ass as their top if they asked me to? Probably. I'd have a lot of questions. There'd be a lot of giggling. Nobody would think I was the big D in that situation, okay? I would be the top because I'm the one hitting them. Oh, no. I would be a baby girl top. I would be... You would be very tired for me by the end of that scene. Because there'd be a lot of giggles and a lot of questions. But because of how I see you, I find that very difficult. So when somebody asks, can my submissive partner top me in this way? The answer is always, of course they can, if they're able to view it this way. If they're able to view the activity as a top-bottom thing, not a DS thing. And or if they're able to say, oh, I'm doing this thing as a submissive act to you because you want me to do it and you've asked me to do it and I've consented to do it. So that's always important. There has to be consent. But because, I'm going to say demanding because that's like the dommy word to saying you're demanding it from me. Maybe you said please and thank you, but it's more like I'm going to use my big D voice. I'm going to use my big D eyebrow arch and tone and look in the eyes, and you're going to know that I'm saying beat my ass as your dominant, not as like a supplicant coming to you going, please, will you beat my ass, right? And for the person who can do that, who can have that mind switch, and hopefully people hearing, by having this conversation, more of you can. Yes, you can. But also I will stand here before you today and say that is pure theory for me. Yeah. I have not managed it yet.
That's true.
I can see where you would use your mind fuckery on me to get me to do something like that and to top you in some way. But man, we'd have to go through some mental gymnastics. There would be so much teasing. There would be so much saying things that aren't technically true, but that I believe because he can tell me anything and I believe him completely. That is how he's able to mind fuck me so well. And then I would probably find myself in the middle of a situation, realizing I'm topping you, and then go, oh! And that's the reality of what it's like to be me, quite frankly. And I think for me, it's because with you, I, in all things, feel submissive. The only time my top energy comes out is business related. Which is why I have no compunction about going, what are you doing? Don't hit that button. Because recording is part of what we do. And so I'll top you in a heartbeat over that. Won't even think twice. But yeah, that's in relation to existing this week right now or not watching, who is absolutely a dominant person in a relationship. And not necessarily.
No.
Based on conversations I've had, I'm thinking most of the time, if not 100% of the time, she's submissive. Right? But she loves to play with certain things, and she's happy to be the one, throwing the whip or whatever. So if you're out there single, do not think it is a choice between I'm submissive in a relationship or I can go play with these toys and hit somebody with them or tie somebody up with rope or be the one to drip the hot wax on them. That's a false choice. You can absolutely do both. If that's what you want to do, you should do both. And woe to the person who watches you having probably a little sadistic laugh when you make somebody jump, squeal, or whatever, thinking that you are dominant in all situations. Like that. No, we can't make those assumptions when we are a casual observer who doesn't know any context. What we're seeing in that kinky fuckery scene, especially like it's at a club, it's at a party, you're watching somebody top somebody. That's what you're watching. That is why I say, to me, the difference between the two is about what you're doing. It's about, the DS is about the relationship and the power exchange between two people, whether it's temporary or ongoing. Topping and bottoming is about the activities you're doing. Because the reality is, in a top-bottom situation, that bottom's going to have as much to tell you as a top will. Like, the bottom's could be in mid-scene, it's going to go a little to the left, okay? That's my sweet spot. Whereas, now, this is personal, so not everybody will, your results may vary. As a submissive, the only time you're going to hear me speak up is if he hit the wrong spot. Like, I'm like, well, that was bad. No, not there. Because it's a pain that could make the scene stop too soon. Like, that's the feedback I'm giving. Or if I'm asked a direct question, I'll let you know where I'm at. But as a submissive, I'm not going to tell my dominant, you are only allowed to hit this 3-inch by 3-inch square space on my ass. That's the only spot. Whereas a bottom could. That doesn't mean submissives can't do that. And that's where this gets complicated and tricky. And that's where there are no easy answers. But if you are currently in some sort of DS dynamic with somebody, or you are learning your style as a dom or a sub, and that style may not translate into a top-bottom situation. As a sub, you might be the type that just, as long as it's within your boundaries and as long as you can handle it, you're not given direction. But as a bottom, you might. And you have every right to. That's why I get very frustrated in kinky fuckery scenes when it is truly like a top-bottom thing. And the bottom's like, no, that's wrong. No, don't hit me like that. Somebody's like, they're topping from the bottom. No, bitch. They're getting what they wanted. Because the top-bottom is a much more equal thing.
It's a more open dynamic, per se.
There's not an inherent power exchange in top bottom. There is if you want there to be.
Yeah.
There is if that's part of your scene. There is if that's how you relate to that other human being. There is if that's what turns you on. Yes, it's capable of being there.
Would you
but it
almost
doesn't
say
have
that
to be there.
with a top and bottom, it's more of a fulfilling of needs and wants and less protocol and ritual?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I would almost say it's also more about the sensation and the play itself.
Yeah.
Which is why there are some doms who are like, no, actually, I want you to pour the hot wax on me today instead of me pouring it on you. They want the sensation. Something about that sensation is what they're after. It doesn't change their role. It doesn't change who they are. It doesn't even change how you necessarily relate to each other in the relationship.
I mean, another example for me, a while back I was attending a rope group. I enjoyed the group. I learned a lot from that group. One of the things I learned from that group, a couple times when I was there, I acted as a rope bottom. Mm-hmm. And
something about that kind of turns me on.
And I enjoyed it.
And what was it about it that you enjoyed?
I'm not really sure. I think it was the act of not having to do anything, of having it being done to me.
Did you enjoy the sensations?
Yes.
Because that's another thing. You can easily be a rope bottom and also be a rigger. You can be both. You can be the top and the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes at the same time if you know how to do self-ties. Well, and that's one of the things that comes to mind. Again, this is a personal view of it.
Yeah.
Your results may vary. As a submissive, part of what, especially in the kinky fuckery sense, part of what I enjoy the most is a sense of powerlessness. Now, I know that I have power. I know that if I throw out a safe word, if I give a word of caution, if when I get the question, give me a color, I say red, I know I have that level of control. I know I can withdraw consent at any time and things will stop. I know that because we've played long enough together, the trust is there. My experience tells me that. But as a submissive, what I love about most of the things we do together is feeling a lack of power. It is out of my control. Can you feel that way as a bottom? Of course you can. For me, though, that is a different experience. If I know I have a lot of say in how this is about to go down, I might take over because powerlessness is not my natural state. I'm not there all the time. But that, in a lot of cases, is what I enjoy about certain activities. Bondage isn't my thing, meaning it's not one of my kinks. It's not a hard limit, so I'll do it, but it's not a kink.
But it's not something you'll seek out as a...
Right.
Not like getting a spanking is for you. Spanking is something you would...
Exactly. But what I can get out of bondage that allows me to enjoy it, one, I can bottom from him as an act of service. You need somebody to practice this tie on. I have no interest in this tie. Okay. Because of the fact that the nature of our relationship, I might be his rope bottom, but I'm also his submissive at the same time. So I don't give direction, but I am much more actively engaged. Like, do you need me to hold this rope? And this is slipping over here. And like, I'm not just surrendering and letting it happen to me. I'm actively working with him to get through this tie. Once I'm tied up, though, what I like about it is that now I can't move. I'm powerless. And he has total control. And so
she likes the end result. She just she's not fond of the in between.
God, that takes so much time to sit there for a fucking tie. Anyway,
spoken like a true baby girl.
So in that one moment, I can go from being his rope bottom, while we get through this tie. Especially like if he's doing it because he wants to take a pretty picture. He's going for an aesthetic. And then now I'm tied up. Well, what's he going to do with me? Well, now I'm submissive, fully submissive because I'm powerless. In spankings, I love the sensation. Yeah. Love the sensation. But I'm not directing shit. I'm not asking. I'm not saying, do you need me to move a little to the left? I'm waiting. Now, if I think I'm in danger or something might hurt or something might cause the scene to end early, yes, I take that responsibility to make sure the scene goes well. Right. But outside of those parameters, it's all him because at that point I'm powerless. And I want to be powerless in that situation, knowing how much power I really do have. Because it ain't happening. Are you okay over there?
Yeah. Carry on.
Maybe baby got a bubble? So, and that's us. And that's me. And that's me in these 5 minutes. Give me 6 months. Let me try something new. I might have a completely different way of looking at what it means for me in a specific situation to be submissive versus a bottom. And that is why every time we get asked these questions, or I feel like I want to try and define something, it is very tricky.
It is.
It is very tricky. I think that it comes down to, when it comes to an activity, a kink, a fetish, I think it comes down to how you see yourself, how you feel about that activity, and how you feel about it when you're engaged in that activity. Can you separate those feelings? Like I said, I could top somebody and spank them. I think. I mean, like, theoretically, I could. I'm not having an internal cringe moment of, oh my God, never. So it's not a hard limit. I think I could. So I can top. But I'm not sure I can just bottom in a spanking. I think theoretically I could. I know theoretically I could. But my kink, like, what I enjoy about a spanking is so wrapped up in my own kinks and my own submission that it would be hard to separate. And this is why these things get complicated. And I am not sure we are at all helping anybody separate these things out in their minds. So we'll go back to what we were saying at the beginning. To me, DS is both a relationship style, power exchange, and how you see yourself in relation to a partner. And again, a lot of people automatically go to long-term romantic sexual, like I'm married or whatever partner, and that is true for many of us, but it doesn't have to be. That could be how you see somebody that you only interact with and see once a week, and that you're not going to live with, and you're not going to get married to, and you're not going to have kids with. Like, this could be somebody that you're friends with, and this is the dynamic you have with each other. And it's not sexual, and it's not romantic, and it's not whatever. And a top-bottom is about your role in the kinky fuckery, meaning what are you doing? Not who are you internally, how do you feel about this person? It's what are you actually doing? Are you tying your partner up, or are you being tied up? Are you getting hot wax poured on you, or are you pouring the hot wax on them? Are you taking the spanking, or are you giving the spanking? In those situations, it's top bottom. And then in other situations, the line is really blurred. Pegging, oral sex. I'm going to have to age restrict this video. Okay. So then that's where the line really blurs. And it depends on how you're playing with the person and what you've agreed to do and what they're doing and how you're responding. And so ultimately, can you be a submissive who tops their dominant? Of course you can. Does it make you less submissive? No, it doesn't. Not at all. Can you be a dominant who gets topped by somebody else? Yes. Yeah. Are you less dominant? No. Decided to spend 45 minutes with something that could have been a 30-second email. Said every middle management person ever. But I do think it can be more complicated than we think it can be. I think sometimes we overcomplicate it.
I was going to say, sometimes it's a matter of overthinking things and making it more complicated. The proverbial making a mountain out of a molehill.
Right. And so for those people who are very conflicted, what I would say is break down the difference between the thing you want to do or have done to you and your role in your relationship. And when in doubt, mind fuck yourself and your partner where appropriate. I think, though, that if people prefer to use labels like top and bottom, even though from the outside looking in, I would go, that's definitely a DS relationship. There's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, all of this is very personal to each of us. I do think we can't make, there's a word, assumptions. Sorry, y'all. There's not enough coffee yet. We cannot make assumptions about who somebody is as a kinkster based on what they're physically doing. Because I can imagine a kinky fuckery scene where the bottom starts out kneeling. for whatever reason. Like, use your imagination. Why would somebody need to be on their knees on the ground? That's why they're there. Okay. And yet, when you talk to them after that scene, they'll be like, I am not submissive. I'm total dominant. But in that moment, I was the bottom, and that's what I needed to do as a bottom. See what I mean? So I think there's a little bit of that too. We see an act happening in porn, in some picture, at the club, and we make assumptions based on the act. Whereas all the times we've talked about DS, 194 other freaking episodes, y'all, we always talk about the mental aspect and how you feel. So I think we even said it in last week's episode that DS is more mental than anything.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then how could we ever make an assumption about who's the big D and who's the little S in a situation based on a scene we're witnessing? And quite frankly, what does that mean for switches who go back and forth in whatever way works for them? You can't assume they are always one way or the other because you see them in this one snapshot in time. We have a lot of people who want us to talk about switching, and I am not qualified.
No.
But maybe one day we'll get there and we'll get somebody smarter than us to go talk about it because we are not qualified. But that's the other thing, though, is where and I get it. I think it's human nature to take a look at something, make a quick judgment, decide we know what's happening. I think that happens to all of us. What I'm saying is slow your roll. Slow down, okay? Because what has happened is by making all of those assumptions about what it means to be dom or what it means to be sub, we're taking kinky activities that have no automatic power exchange involvement, and we're turning them into a power exchange thing, when they're really just this kinky thing that you're either the top or the bottom. The luxury of this kinky life we have is that you can take a spanking that is between top and bottom and make it as DSy as you'd like. We do all the time. But you have to remember that your reality stops outside of your personal bubble, and somebody else's experience with it will be completely different, which means that when you start having the sort of internal conversation of, can I take a spank? Can I be spanked and still be dom? You have narrowed down your view of what kink and BDSM mean to just your experience, and at that point it can become self-limiting, and it's time to open it up and throw away all those assumptions and all those prejudgments that we make, and it's natural that we make them. We absolutely do that as humans in everything. But the most enlightenment I think I've ever found is realizing that when I walk into a dungeon and I see all kinds of fuckery going on, I don't know anything other than what I'm seeing in that moment. All I know in that moment is that little teeny tiny woman is beating the shit out of that big old man. And then when they're done, she's calling him daddy. And I love that.
I know.
I love that.
I never forgot that. I remember that. Yeah, this fella, he was like 6 foot.
He was huge. He was like a fucking mountain.
He was huge.
He was huge.
He was a mountain. And she was just this tiny little petite thing. And she opened up a can of whoop ass on him.
She did. She clearly loved it. He clearly loved it.
Yep.
And that was, and I think they were switches because they had multiple names for each other.
Right.
So like he was daddy, and I don't remember what her baby girl name was, but she's a total baby girl. And then he would sometimes call her mommy, and then she had another name for him.
Yeah.
So I think they were actually switches, but that's
Correct.
the thing. You walked in, and if I had gone on my first impression, my assumption, I'd have been like, oh, well, she's the dom, he's the sub. No, not at all. Not at all.
Right.
So, or if I go on a first impression, we saw fire cupping one time, which is fascinating, but I'm not ready. I'll just keep watching from the sidelines. And I could have assumed that everybody who had that experience was submissive, except they weren't. Some of them were. Some of them were doms who wanted to know what it felt like. Some were switches. Some were people who don't identify as dom and sub, and they're purely identify as top and bottom. That's what I mean when it's
It's very fluid.
It's very fluid.
Yeah.
Very fluid. I feel like we're at the we've been rambling, but we're really at the rambling now. So don't prejudge everything based on your personal reality, and realize that your options are a lot wider.
Yeah.
And that you can absolutely bottom if you identify as dom. You could top if you identify as submissive. You can make topping your dom an act of service.
You can be anything you want to be.
Be anything you want to be. BDSM is way better than Disney World and magic, is what I'm saying. Dreams really do come true. Dark, kinky dreams really come true here.
Yep.
So when you're wondering, can I do that? Should I do that? First of all, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying we're going to start a revolution here. When you ask yourself should, that is society's expectations, not yours. That's somebody else's expectations on you. Don't even say society. It could be parents. It could be school. It could be work. It could be whatever. That's somebody else's expectations on you. That you're trying to make a judgment of what you should do for your life based on what somebody else thinks you ought to be doing. And second, anything can be a dominant act if you want it to be, and anything can be a submissive act if you want it to be. And
that's very true.
So what's the difference between a dom and a sub and a top and a bottom? A whole hell of a lot, and also at the same time, not much.
Not much. Yeah.
I'm not sure how helpful that was.
It's a very thin veneer between them.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so too. It's all about mindset, really.
It's about mindset. It's a very personal thing, and like I said earlier, it's fluid. Ebbs and flows like a tide.
Yep, exactly. So go forth and do the kinky thing that somebody else will consent to do with you, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Fuck the labels.
There you go.
I think that's it.
Pretty much.
I think so.
Yeah.
I could go on, but
I'm sure you could.
Don't need
I
to.
have no doubt about that.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt. I totally could. But I've been a little rambly already, to the point I'm not even sure we've been coherent for the past, hour? So that probably means we should go to the bonus section. Before we do, I want to do our Patreon shout out for this episode and say a thank you and hello to CDC, Sir and Her 78, Chris and B. Thank you. You can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/KaylaLords. Link in the description box or in the show notes. I will leave it at that. We do not need 100 years of Patreon commercials. Okay. So, yes, I'm ready.
Are we good?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Keep it kinky, y'all, and we'll see you next week. Daddy, I know. I know. We both really need new glasses. I can't see the numbers either. Can I talk to the crickets, though?
Yes, baby girl.
Thank
you
you,
can talk
Daddy.
to the crickets now.
Oh, my God. The monitor to watch the audio recording, because we do audio and video simultaneously.
Right.
It's 5 feet away, if that. And we are both looking at these numbers like, what is on the screen? I could not tell you right now what is on the damn screen. Yeah. We really need glasses.
Yeah, we do.
They are really not happening right now.
No.
Okay, so
anyhow,
I would like to whine a little bit.
Go right ahead.
Kinky patrons got to hear me whine within hours of this happening. It's been days now. Still whining.
Okay, you whine. I need to stand up and stretch my legs.
Yes. Fireside chats might look good on screen, but they are hell on the back and legs.
Yeah.
So we got to go. Proud band mom moment. Went to a marching band competition on Saturday to see the 14-year-old and his band perform. I was in band geek heaven. Except I was looking around, we were in stadium seating, and they're like those cement block stadium seatings, not like little aluminum bleachers that are all like shifty. Like we were like solid. And part of me was like, I like sitting in places like this because I'm not worried about my purse falling down to the ground. I'm not worried about, a leg falling through. Totally happened when I was a kid, climbing up those aluminum bleachers, and my leg fell right through because that's how I roll. But I'm also looking around as people are packing in around us. I'm like, oh shit, how am I going to get down? Because people are packing in around us, and the stairs, which are teeny tiny little steps, are way the hell over there. And so, as I was reliving my childhood experiences of marching band, except getting to watch instead of getting to just participate and be out on the field, I then got to experience my childhood awkwardness and clumsiness as I stepped down from one stadium step, which 18 inches? Yeah. And sprained my ankle. sprained it so bad that there is a line of bruising from around the top of my toes where the joints, like when you wiggle your toes, all the way around below my ankle. It's like a purple line all the way around my foot. Heard it crunch when I landed wrong because I don't know how to walk or step. And it swelled up to probably, twice its normal size. Mm-hmm. And that is why yep. I did not edit any video this weekend because I went, no. I just kept my leg propped up, stayed on the couch, kept ice on it, and whined, and took pictures of how big my one foot was compared to the other, and worried that I had broken something and did not realize I had broken it. Yeah. That is my whining moment. I have wanted to whine about it, but I was like, I'll whine about it when I have unlimited amounts of time. Yeah. Twitter's no place because you only get 280 characters, and somebody would want to tell me about something I didn't want to hear about. And I didn't want to put pictures on Instagram because I was like, you know what will happen? People who are into foot fetishes will think I have done something for them when really I'm just whining about my swollen foot and ankle. But yes, I got to relive my childhood memories of being in band and also my childhood memories of being the clumsiest, most awkward human being I've ever known. All on the same day. It was beautiful and delightful, and I cried. But I did not cry where anybody could see me because I did what clumsy people the world around have done once they realize they're clumsy people. I stepped wrong. My foot landed, my knee and part of my foot went one way, and my ankle crunched and went the other way. And then I acted like I was fine. Poor John Brownstone's like, all these people around us, are you okay? And I'm like, nothing happened. There is nothing to see here, people. I'm trying to keep the 10-year-old calm because if he thought I was seriously hurt, he could have melted down. There's all these strangers around me, and I feel like I felt like as awkward as I ever did as a teenager. I'm like, let's just get out of here. It's time to leave now. We're going to walk to the car. He's like, do you want me to bring the car around? I'm like, no, I'm going to keep moving because that is what I have to do. Because if I stop, I will be the awkward teenager again, and I will start crying right here. Let us keep moving.
And you did. You gritted your teeth and kept moving and didn't stop till it got to the car.
The baby girl in me wanted to lay down on the ground and just cry and just shriek and be so upset. The embarrassed human being was, I am that person. I have done this before. I've fallen to the ground, literally done a somersault, stood back up and kept walking like I had not fallen. And I am that person. If I fall, I could have lost my entire handbag, wallet, credit card, groceries behind me in the fall. They're staying there. There is nothing to see here, people. I'm going to keep moving forward. And that was a self-protective thing as a kid. I was so awkward and clumsy. I was always falling. I would twice in marching band at competitions, I felt going up the bleachers. Up the bleachers. If you are not aware that that's a thing, ask your clumsy friends. They will tell you it's a thing. And so I was constantly teased for it. And so I just learned as a self-protective thing to either laugh it off. So if somebody thought they were going to laugh at me, I'd already laughed, ha ha ha, or to act like I was fine. I mean, I have gone home from things as a kid where the wrist was sprained, the ankle was sprained, I had a bruise here, I had a bruise there, and didn't even think about it or look at it or deal with it till hours later when I got home because I had pretended nothing was wrong just to try and save face. And apparently at 40, I still do that. We did learn. He kept saying to me after this happened on these cement block stadium bleacher things, did you fall all the way to the ground? I'm like, no, it was just my foot. My knee bent like I was in a squat, but no, I didn't fall. And then 2 days later, he's spanking my ass, and one cheek is really sore. And I'm like, oh, well, you just gave me my birthday spanking 2 days late because that's how life has been lately. I was like, wow, you must have really gone to town on the right side because it's really tender. He's like, maybe I did, but are you sure? I'm like, well, it's really tender there. 2 days go by, it's still tender, and I finally go, do you think I landed on my butt when I fell at the competition? And apparently, yes. There's no bruising on my butt, sadly. But there is a sore spot because I didn't just hurt my ankle. Apparently, I hurt my ass. Yeah. So that's my tale of woe and whining as a baby girl.
Grace.
You know what's sad though, and I'm gonna be very honest with you. I got that whole my family did that. They were like, "Oh, Grace, yeah, that's what we're gonna call you, Grace." And so it is funny, and I have to laugh at myself because Lord, what else am I gonna do, right? But that is a little bit of like, yeah, I remember that too. I heard that a lot as a teenager. I was like so awkward. I mean, every teenager is awkward. I was reminded of that as we're now raising a teenager. They're all awkward. But it was like I just didn't know where my arms and legs were in relation to anything. And if it required a spatial skill, like step up, step down, move to the right, or how I ever marched, I think it's because it was a flat field. Quite frankly, I'm pretty sure that's the only reason I was able to be a marching band person is because I didn't have to step up anyway. I just had to keep going straight. So, yeah, that's my whining. And it's been weird. So I talk a lot as a submissive and a baby girl about wanting to be taken care of. I really enjoy that until somebody's trying to take care of me that I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. I don't need to be taken care of.
I had to order her to the couch to put ice on her ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally would have just tried to tough it out.
I know,
which would have been stupid. It probably would be even worse than it is now. The swelling, this happened on Saturday, and we're recording on Wednesday. The swelling is still there, but it is now going down.
Mm-hmm.
My toes look like toes again. But yeah, I was like, no, I can do it. I can do it.
She's a tough one. I'm finding that out more and more. I asked her
stubborn.
I asked her the same day that night after we got home. I was like, do you think I should get you a... I said, do you think you need an ace bandage?
I'm like, yeah.
And she's like, I don't know. I don't think so.
Foot hadn't rotted off yet. It'll be fine. Just drag it behind me.
So the next day, I'm looking at her ankle. I'm putting her on the couch to ice it up again. And I didn't even ask her.
No, that was probably the best thing.
I just went to the store, bought an ace bandage, came home, and wrapped her ankle.
If I recall, you handed me a Diet Coke, and then you wrapped my ankle.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been... So this is the hard part. So I haven't had to really walk the dog in a few days. And I really kind of like that part. But also I feel guilty, and I'm like, I'm not pulling my weight around here as I drag my leg behind me.
Yeah, and I'm tired because you've been laid up. Both boys have been sick.
Both boys got sick, yes.
So
that happened.
I've been doing their chores. I've been pretending to be you. I've been me. I'm tired.
He is tired. I know. We're all just tired. This is our natural state now. But yeah, hopefully. So there's another marching band competition this weekend that apparently will just be me and the 10-year-old going to.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh God, I have to navigate the steps by myself.
No, I'm hereby ordering you. You are not to go up in the bleachers. You are sitting on the ground. Baby girl. Baby
They
girl.
don't usually just let you sit on the ground, okay? Now, if you just let me sit at the 10-yard line on the field, no, that's not an option. We'll figure it out. So, yeah, we, the day of my birthday, which was the last week's recording, we did not get to do birthday spanks that day.
No.
And then the youngest was sick Thursday and Friday and had to stay home.
Mm-hmm. Then the weekend rolled around.
Yeah. Wait, when did I get my birthday spanks then?
I think it was Monday.
Was it Monday?
Yeah.
I'm so confused. The days are like...
Yeah.
I don't know anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No, he went back to school on Friday. He stayed home Wednesday and Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday. That's right.
And so it was Friday when I got my birthday spanks, because when I fell on Saturday, that's why we were confused.
Already. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Whew.
Yeah, it's been,
confusing.
Been
wild. It's been wild. So, yeah, that's us.
Yeah. Pretty much it.
I don't know if anybody's interested in any of it, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's like part of me is like, of course, this is how things are going.
Yeah. Jennifer did ask if you had a good birthday.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We didn't get to go out to eat, but I did Bite Squad.
Yes.
And we, like, had a feast on the kitchen table that nobody had to cook, so that was nice.
Right.
But I didn't get what I planned that day, and then we had a kid home sick the next day.
Yeah.
And then
You still never really got your dinner out.
No, never got my dinner out. And we had to do grocery shopping the next day. On Halloween, we did grocery shopping.
Yes.
At night. Because we had a sick kid. And then I think Friday we made up a little bit of lost time, but we went to Orlando on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just... Did my birthday happen? I was there for it. I drank good coffee. I'm positive of that. And I felt all the love, and so that was good. Everything has been a blur.
It has.
From
so much has been going on.
From last Wednesday to now, total blur.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, it was a good birthday. What I remember of it. So, yeah, we haven't gone. I didn't get my birthday. But I guess I did get my birthday dinner. I got
well, we got
Bite Squad arrived.
We just didn't get to go out to have it.
The person who brought us our food was very nice. And I had a coupon, so I didn't have to pay the Bite Squad delivery fee. Okay. I still tipped, though.
I think it was Brandy.
It's usually Brandy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I guess it counts. There's no need to go out. I don't know, y'all. I am gonna tell you, I am way overwhelmed with my freelancer life right now, so my thoughts are very scattered. I am not gonna go into a rant or whine about my client work right now, because ain't nobody got time for that. But I am very scattered right now. Like, I can feel it. Mm-hmm. I'm just hoping the episode we just did and recorded is coherent.
Maybe you need a good spanking to focus you.
I'm sure I do.
Yep.
But aren't you about to go pick up a kid from school?
Today.
Yeah, right. So I don't get the spanking I need today.
No.
Right. What is it? You don't get the spanking you want, you get the spanking you need?
Yes.
You just don't get it when the hell you want it, but maybe you get it when you need it? I don't know. I'm trying to be philosophical about my kink.
You know, I think there might be a song in there.
Oh, my Lord. Yeah. And a happy early birthday to Jennifer, whose birthday is next week on the 13th.
Happy birthday.
And Arya's right. Never say no to a good spanking. Hell, don't say no to a bad spanking as long as it's the person you want to be spanking you. I mean, there's been some disappointing spankings.
Yeah.
Still do them again in a heartbeat. Bad spanking is better than no spanking.
Right.
A bad but not dangerous.
Yes. Yeah.
Spanking. Oh, I feel like I have to qualify things. I could just see the tweet now. Kayla said, even the worst spanking you've ever had in your life is better than no spanking. Like, I can just see it. That's not what I'm saying. Okay.
I think on that note.
Yeah, it's time. Mm-hmm. For everybody who has stuck around this long, thank you.
Thank you.
I make no promises about
your made of
us
stern
next
stuff
week. Yeah, I know, right? No, I had somebody who messaged and said they listened. I don't know if it was the entire back catalog or if it was just 1 year of episodes in like a few days. And I was just like,
wow.
Yeah. And also thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to be done?
Yes.
For real this time?
Mm-hmm.
Are we just pretending?
I need to turn this room back into a living room.
Yeah. I got to get back to work and do some other stuff. I'd rather be here, but we're going to go. We're not even talking about anything. People are like, gotta go. I got a life to get back to. Will this bitch ever shut the fuck up? No.
She'll keep going even after the cameras and mics are turned off, so.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
We love you.
We love you. We are always happy to see y'all here and talking in the chat.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And if you're listening on the podcast, we love you too.
Yes.
We love all y'all. If you're watching later. Yeah. See, look, this is me dragging it out. We're going to go. Bye.